Hey, what's up world? Coach Evans here. Thank you very much for tuning in. Today I want us to talk about 10 tips that will help those beginners out there who are starting to date and experience things to make this whole dating scene a little bit more enjoyable and a little less frustrating, as we all know it can be sometimes. So, jumping on to these 10 tips. Tip number one is before you ask a girl out or before you ask a woman out, make sure that you're truly into this particular person, because there are people out there, we all do this. We have done this at some point. When we feel lonely, we try to fill the void of loneliness. We try to not be alone by asking anyone that is available to go out with us. Now, this can lead to very toxic relationships because they start from places of not feeling enough to begin with. So avoid having to go out with women that you're not truly into. And that also goes to the other part where avoid going out with women that are not into you. Now, tip number two is that don't assume you have a date unless you have a set day, time, and place that you're going to meet this particular person. Because I see so many guys out there who maybe were chatting with a girl and she mentioned we should hang out sometime over the weekend, and they completely cancel all the plans they had just because they think that this girl is going to get back to them with an answer on when and where to meet up. So to avoid frustration when you think you have a date and it turns out you do not, make sure that you have those three things in place, and that is day, time, and place you're going to meet this particular woman. If you do not have those three things, you do not have a date. And let's be clear, those three things are not in place, there is no date. Move on with your life. On to tip number three. When you're going out on these dates with women, your aim is not there to be a super pleaser. You can be a gentleman, you can be courteous, you can open the door for her, you can pull out the chair when you go out for dinner, but you're not there to be a super pleaser. Because once a woman feels like you're trying too much, she starts losing all the respect that she had for you. You're there to be her equal, you're there to enjoy her company, not to put her on a pedestal. Especially the cheapest way of doing this, which is giving a woman compliments over and over again. So if you feel like she's dressed nice, give her one or two compliments throughout the dates. Don't go overboard, as I said. Moving on to tip number four. When you go on dates, especially if it's a woman you're just seeing for the first time, make sure that you're not wearing a very strong scented cologne. Most guys, we try to go out to show out our best version of ourselves. We dress nice, we look good, we want to smell like $1,000,000 at the same time. However, if the cologne you're wearing is overbearing, especially when you know you're going to hug and embrace this woman you're going out on a date with, it can be unbearable to some women. So if you're to wear a cologne, make sure it's light, make sure it's fresh, make sure it's not overbearing. Or you can choose to go without it completely until you get to know the woman that you're going out with and her taste a little bit and decide if she will appreciate the cologne you're about to wear. Tip number five, when you go on a date, that is not the time for you to go and offload all the accomplishments you have had in your life. That's the time for you to go and connect with somebody else that you find attractive. So what you want to do is being able to influence this other person that's sitting across the table from you or besides you. And what most people do not understand is that listening has got a really high probability of getting the other person to like you a whole lot more. So in order for you to influence that person, in order for you to get that woman to like you, learn to be a good listener and ask quality questions. What this will do is that it will allow the other person to feel like they're being listened to more, to feel like they're connecting to you. Because as human beings, we connect with people when we feel like they know a little bit about ourselves. So allow her to open up, ask quality questions, ask what she's passionate about, find out who she really is. So be a good listener, ask quality questions. That is invaluable when you're on a date and you want to influence the other person who is a beautiful girl sitting across from you. Tip number six, if you're single and if you have the time, go ahead and date as many women as possible. Now, make sure that you're doing this safely if you're getting into sexual intercourse with these women. The only reason why I'm telling you to go and date as many women as possible is mainly because to expose yourself to different characteristics, to different people who have different values. Because if you're brand new to dating, if you're very green when it comes to dating, you find that you do not have an ingrained list of values that you need to look for. And the more you date people, the more you expose yourself out there, the more you learn about what you appreciate, what turns you on, what you like, what you can stand, and what you cannot stand. So I encourage people, before you get in an exclusive relationship, make sure that you have exposed yourself to a wide range of qualities in order for you to determine that these are the qualities that I respond well to. These are the qualities that I'm looking for, and these are the qualities that I do not want in a relationship. If you have the experience, this comes easier. But if you're brand new, you'll find that you will get attracted to someone because of these values that you see without even realizing that they have a whole bunch of values that you do not want. So I'm not asking you to be a player. I'm not asking you to be promiscuous. All I'm saying is that dating multiple women exposes you to all these different characteristics, okay? And there is nothing wrong with understanding yourself, understanding what you want, and also understanding what you do not want. And tip number 7 is aligned with the theme of dating multiple women. If you're going to be doing that, make sure that you take these women on inexpensive dates to begin with. The best and typical inexpensive date out there is taking somebody out for coffee. Why do I suggest coffee? One is that it allows you to get to spend quality time with this person and get a feel of who they are. And if you like who they are, if you like the time that you're spending, the experience you're having with this person, you can escalate that maybe to grabbing something to eat or going for a walk at the beach or whatever you want to do. But it also gives you an out if you find that you do not want to spend any more time with this person that you're on a date with. After one cup of coffee, you can say, hey, it was nice talking to you. I gotta go. And if you feel you can give a lame excuse, that's up to you. But I normally like being straightforward and say, it's not working out like I thought it would. I'm not having the experience I thought I'll be having. So nice talking to you. Have a nice one. You can be as blunt as that. So make sure that these dates are inexpensive, because if you're going on multiple dates with these women, you'll find that the amount you spend adds up. And also, you do not want to find yourself at a restaurant having ordered a 3-course meal and you're finding yourself not liking the person that you're with. And you have to endure all that time waiting for all these meals and spending time with her. Tip number 8, and this actually pertains to so many rookies out there. You find that we get fixated just because we have spent some time with somebody and we think that we're in an exclusive relationship with someone. You are not in an exclusive relationship unless it's been discussed by both of you. This is going to save you a lot of frustration and a lot of time. If you two have not talked about being exclusive, if you have not talked about not seeing each other people outside of the two of you, that other person is more than free to go and date other people. And you should feel the same way too. So if it hasn't been discussed, you are not in an exclusive relationship. The other person is free to do what they want, and you should feel the same way too. Moving on to tip number 9. We are close to the end here, people. Never try to set up a second date when you're still on the first date. And this mainly takes away the time that you can give this woman, the space you can allow the woman you've gone out with to allow this experience to marinate. Because what women do, and not just women, even guys do this actually, where once you've gone out with someone and the experience was really, really, really good, we find that we'll keep thinking about it even after we are away from that date and away from that person. So the more we think about it and it's a positive thought that's in our head, the more we get attracted to that person and the more we like them. However, if you go ahead and try to set a second date while you're still on the first date, she might say yes to it, but it takes away the time she might be thinking about seeing you again, the curiosity that she might be having because she had a really, really, really good time with you. So allow her the space and time for that experience to marinate. Spend another 2-3 days away, or 4-5 or a week after that date before you ask her out again, because this is going to make her attraction towards you intensify. The more she thinks about you, the more positive thoughts she thinks about the date and you in general. So allow her the time. Don't try to rush the second date, especially if you're still on the first date. That was tip number 9. And tip number 10. Okay, tip number 10. Never end the date without having kissed the woman. What most guys don't realize is that once you play nice, once you start telling yourself that I need to give this woman a little bit extra time to get to know her. With some women, that will be you communicating to them that you do not find them attractive enough to go for their kiss on the first date. Now, with that being said, there will be women out there that will tell you that they do not kiss on the first date. That's completely fine. However, in my own experience is that I'm not going out with somebody who is not willing, ready, and able to engage in romantic activities with me. I did not mean sex, but that can wait a little bit longer because not everybody's comfortable doing that on the first date. But for me, if I cannot kiss a girl on the first date, that means that that connection was not there. I did not make her feel comfortable enough, and there's no point of me wanting to keep setting dates and pursuing this particular woman. So I will let them go, but always go for that kiss before the first date ends and before you walk away separate ways. Go ahead and pick what you think might be valuable to you. Share the video to somebody else who you think might use this information. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.